Previously on Genius Prismatic Mage, our hero shattered the crystal gate, survived the impossible trials, and unleashed a storm of prismatic power. But the system's darkness surged, and the enemy's true nightmare looms. And now, the Prismatic Mage erupts into the 49th sector, freezing the city in an instant. I stare at the cracked cobblestones of my birthplace, recalling the cramped alleys that forged me. The 4Z&D sector mirrors that chaos, but its towers loom higher, its streets spread like veins. I memorize every narrow doorway, every tangled lane. My map must fit my memory. Scale flips. The south sector shrinks beneath my boots. The north swallows whole blocks. My mind catalogs each block, hunting the pattern that will guide my hunt. And that's not even the worst part. The lower districts pulse with the same cramped rhythm, each upstream stretch reshaping the skyline. A restless crow screeches atop a crumbling rooftop, scanning the neon-lit alleys of the 49th sector. It spots the Blink Mage slipping between market stalls, clutching a tattered map. The mage slams the parchment against a steaming street vendor, demanding coordinates to the prismatic vessel. A sudden gust scatters the paper, sending fragments fluttering into the night. Shadows drape the alley as the Blink Mage darts past neon stalls, clutching a cracked amber vial. He smashes the bottle onto a trembling counter. Sparks erupt in Veronica. The shopkeeper glares, demanding payment. A hulking figure snatches a tome. Yui snarls. The mage's alert flickers crimson, then flares dark green as the thief bolts. The chapter ends at a breaking point for Genius Prismatic Mage. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. Bet you can't guess what happens next. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and see if you're right.
The Prismatic Mage tears the sky, and the rusted factory rises like a battlefield. A gravel-gruff commander snarls, "Count your streets!" He slams a map onto the table. The squad's trembling fingers trace the ink, then shout, 23rd through Z5. Their voice tightens the air. He narrows his eyes, matching their claim against rival whispers. Their promise gnaws his hunger for dominance, while the silent alleys mutter doubts. The factory's broken towers cast long shadows, oil slicks glinting under flickering lights. The tension spikes. One more move could seal a whole sector. How many streets have you taken? Those numbers hide a game-changing secret. A skeptical voice challenges. Is he not from the streets? How does he know how to read? The leader leans forward, offering a lifeline. Come work for me. I'll make sure you never starve. What does the paper say? The desperate captive asks. How do you pick your leader? I'm asking how you choose the boss from your group. A cold chuckle follows. By fighting, the strongest becomes the lead, the boss. The promise of food and power tempts the captive, but the price is brutal combat.
It's here.
Beck Uziel slips into the dim corridor of the abandoned factory, eyes scanning for threats.
Lightning splits the rusted roof as Beck Uziel darts through the broken doorway, eyes scanning for hidden threats. He spots a hulking thug clutching a makeshift banner, the emblem of the gang pulsing faintly. Uziel unleashes a rapid blink, reappears behind the thug and slashes a glowing rune into the metal. The thug snarls, drops his weapon, and the gang's murmurs surge into chaotic chatter about Mark Red recruitment. Uziel bursts through the shattered doorway, lightning arcing around him as he confronts the hulking enforcer, revealing the gang's concealed power source. Uziel feels his future teeter on a razor's edge, a fleeting chance at belonging weighed against the loss of his freedom and the possible death of his battered allies. Cedric leans in, whispering a contract, while a distant explosion hints that an unseen rival watches. Don't let the algorithm decide if you see the next chapter. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and take control.
The Prismatic Mage shatters the mana ring, unleashing a searing pulse that could wipe the entire sector. In Sector, the gang circles the wreckage, fists clenched, each shouting they deserve the throne. Their law is pure muscle, not titles. A snarling voice spits a curse at the challenger, branding him a traitor. The accused hunches his shoulders, eyes flaring, refusing to retreat. The crackle of tension outshouts the ringing echo, and every pair of eyes reads the looming battle that will crown or crush the gang's future. And that's only the beginning. The echo of the insult still reverberates as the crew prowls the makeshift arena. The day dawns, the courtyard teems with packed crowds, banners rippling in each gang's colors. Cedric strides into the arena, the ring blazing like sunrise, his confidence unshaken. Uziel watches, heart hammering, recalling the warning that the artifact can magnify emotion. A sneering onlooker jeers, Uziel must be insane to face that power. While the crowd buzzes with doubt, a whisper spreads that someone will repair the ring at Titus' hut before the fight, promising a quick fix. Undeterred, Uziel slams his gauntlet down, daring Cedric to clash. He still has no clue what awaits.
You must be out.
Uziel slams the glowing mana ring onto his palm, unleashing a blinding violet surge that splinters the rival gang leader's shield and ignites the arena in a cascading torrent of raw magical energy, lighting the sky with crackling arcs. He feels the weight of every eye, his heart pounding like a war drum as the chance to claim leadership teeters between triumphant glory and the terrifying realization that his own fury may betray the very principles he swore to protect. A shadowed figure leans in, whispering an ominous offer that could grant Uziel unparalleled power, or bind him to a darker fate, leaving his destiny hanging precariously over the shattered battlefield, trembling between salvation and ruin. True fans know the lore is the best part. Hit subscribe on Manwa with Hari.
The first burst of prismatic fire incinerates hopeful strangers in an instant. Hunter stalks the alley beside the eastern garbage dump, eyes scanning for any sign of trouble. Rumors cling to his reputation like grime on the concrete. Every passerby whispers his name, fearing his reputation for crushing strangers. He pushes forward, the stench of waste pressing against his skin, but the crowd's suspicion blocks his path. He grins, cracks his knuckles, and steps into the fray, letting his aura flare. The murmurs turn to silence as the locals recognize the danger he carries. And that's not even the worst part.
Hunter, I've heard a lot of rumors about you.
Philip's voice cuts through the murmur. He's that hunter everyone's been talking about. I'll be bringing him over as a guest. A few heads nod, murmurs of fear and respect ripple through the room. He points to an empty chair, then adds, I use this place by myself. Make yourself at home and take a seat. The hunter's reputation, rumored assassin, silent blade, feeds the tension like a live wire. Uziel slides into the chair, notebook still clutched, eyes scanning for any sign of betrayal. The broker's invitation masks a test. Survive the hunter's scrutiny or be cast out.
I use this place by myself. Make yourself at home and take a seat.
Philip watches Uziel's impatient stare, hearing the half-finished explanation crumble. Uziel wants his reward now, but the price tag floats like a threat. The number 7,000 glints on the table, a barrier he cannot ignore. Instead of arguing, Uziel nods, his mind already mapping a route through the sector's waste tunnels. He accepts the assignment, knowing the hidden item could shift power in the underground. The consequence is a new deadline and a dangerous hunt, binding his fate to the hotel's shadows. But the real problem is already in motion.
7,000 credits. Find the missing sigil for me.
Philip slams a chair toward Uziel, demanding the notebook's formula and exposing a hidden contract that ties their salvation to a perilous 7,000 gold sacrifice. Uziel trembles, aware that signing the pact could free the sleeping youths, but also shatter his own ambition, leaving him stripped of credibility and condemned to endless exploitation. Philip's unblinking stare lingers on the Your support means more than you know. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and be part of something real. The engine bursts, flames licking the workshop walls. Hope splinters. Hunter drops to a crouch beside the twisted wreck, eyes scanning the grease-slick mechanic. He leans in, voice low. You really come from Sector 50? The mechanic grunts, still watching the charred chassis. Hunter sneers. That car looks like it crossed a desert. He reaches for the rusted hood, daring the heat to slow. Pass me the wrench and a millimeter nut, he demands. The mechanic flings the tools onto the cracked floor, metal clanging with urgency. Hunter snatches the wrench, feeling the weight of desperation. And that's not even the worst part. Steam curls from the gaping hood as the engine sputters, refusing to die. Nice, they're closed today. One shouts, fist pounding a boarded storefront. How can they hold out with us hurling rocks every day? Another jeers, greed glinting in his eyes. You idiot. They'll pay us double if the shop goes up for sale. We can't stop now. A third growls, brandishing a sack of stones. We'll smash the Z&D floor. Not the store, but their home. We'll force them out. The crew rallies, each word fueling a reckless urge to demolish the building's foundation. Their profit-driven scheme promises quick cash but risks drawing unwanted attention. Uziel storms out of the clanking garage, wrench gripped tight, Philip's hollow tablet ablaze. A blinding yellow-black aura erupts around the trembling mage, sending the thugs scattering. A terrified mage clings to courage, her yellow glow trembling against encroaching black mana, while Uziel risks everything to shield her, even his own freedom. The lingering black mana coalesces into a shadowy sigil on the market's cracked pavement, hinting at a deeper conspiracy, while the thugs retreat into the alleys, fearing the unseen power. There's a twist coming that nobody sees coming. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari, you'll want to be ready.
The heavens crack open. A torrent of raw magic erupts, toppling stalls like a house of cards. The hero snatches the nearest banner, pulls it over the trembling kids. The Gale slams his arms, ripping the cloth and knocking him off balance. He snarls. Again. He twists his wrist, channels a pulse of pure mana, hurls the banner forward. A brief bubble of stillness blooms. The wind recoils, leaving a hollow corridor and an eerie silence. The danger isn't over.
That was pure sorcery.
Will the next blast shatter everything? He darts toward the wrecked awnings, heart hammering against the storm's roar. He clamps his fists around the mana coil, willing it to move. Nothing stirs. Frustration spikes as his focus meets a wall of emptiness. Veronica watches, then explains, white mana only answers true dedication or sacrifice, not sheer will. The truth hits hard, like a stone dropped in still water. He sees his own doubts have sealed the power, leaving the magic dormant, awaiting a price.
White mana only reacts to sacrifice.
And that's not even the worst part. The hero sighs, feeling the chasm between his heart and the mana's need. Those feelings are far from me, he mutters, voice low. A nearby apprentice asks why white mana is invisible.
The hero grabs a crackling surge of white mana and drives it into Veronica's trembling hand, instantly sealing the rupturing sigil that threatens to engulf her grandfather's study. Veronica senses the wave of shared grief, leaning on the hero's fragile bond, as he faces the icy gulf between his emotions and the mana's demand, risking his own composure. Jagged lightning scars the sky above, hinting at a deeper, unseen rupture that could shatter the whole manor if the white mana source falters. Start your day right with a new Manwa recap. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
He crouches in the cramped back room, eyes snapping to the yawning doorway. He must learn why the shopkeeper vanished the instant he snatched the strange artifact. The silence swallows his questions, so he hurls a sharp, "Huh?" into the void, hoping the echo will force an answer. The owner steps back, stammering a broken schedule excuse. The hero's fist tightens, the missing piece pressing against his palm, urgency rising. He vows to chase the trail before darkness settles.
Huh?
What comes next changes everything. He prowls the narrow aisles, scanning dusty shelves for any clue about the vanished prism. Lightning crackles across the vaulted basement ceiling as Kian twists the mana-sealed door. He slams the knob, and a stone pulse erupts, revealing a crimson bloodstone humming beside Cedric's jeweled ring. Mark Red watches from the shadows, his grin widening as Kian reads the etched promise of refuge for 66 orphans. The hero snatches the prism-like stone, feeling its volatile energy surge through his veins, and vows to expose the hidden cartel. A sudden pulse of mana ripples through the stone hallway as June cracks the schedule's final line. He slams his palm against the hidden basement door. Glyphs flare, unlocking a cavernous vault. Inside, a crimson bloodstone hums, matching the jewel set in Cedric's ring.
Kian channels raw mana into the rusted keyhole, shattering the seal and exposing the pulsing bloodstone that mirrors Cedric's jeweled ring. The discovery fuels Kian's hope of unlocking the hidden prism, yet the bloodstone's ominous glow hints that the price of power may claim his friends' lives. With the door ajar and glyphs flickering, a deeper darkness stirs behind the vault, promising a mana surge that could shatter their fragile alliance. Bet you can't guess what happens next. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and see if you're right. The adult mage grips a trembling knife, its blade glinting in the dim light. He forces the hidden boy to step into the shadows, demanding the truth. The child's eyes dart, his breath shallow, as the mage pulls a vial, whispering about rat poison. "I'll need some rat poison too," the mage snarls, his grin widening. The threat makes the boy flinch, his heart pounding. The mage believes the toxin will shatter the child's resolve. Tension spikes as the child realizes his cover is blown.
"I'll need some rat poison too."
And that's not even the worst part. The mage squeezes the knife tighter, eyes burning with intent. The assassin's fury erupts, blood pounding in his ears as he threatens to burn everything down. "I'll make sure the boss has no choice but to recognize my ability," he snarls, blaming the blood eye for the looming payment. "Boss must be regretting right now," he growls, raw edge in his voice. His rage fuels a desperate gamble. Destroy the hero now or force the hidden lord's hand later. The hero steadies his mana shield, knowing the next move could seal his fate.
"Boss must be regretting right now."
The air crackles, and the next spell looms ominously. The hero watches the red bloodstone rings spin faster, mana spiraling through the assassin's veins. The assassin unleashes metallization, transmuting the hero's staff into cold iron. A crimson rune erupts, anchoring scarlet shards to the hero's shield, and the battlefield flips in an instant. The assassin's whispered confession and tear reveal his fear of losing everything, while the hero's blood-stained resolve hardens, promising a final showdown. What are you waiting for? Hit the button. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
The Prismatic Mage's eyes snap open as the truth hits. His own brother wields the assassin's blade, and the spell shatters like glass. Ray stalks the shadow-laden hallway, the chill biting his skin. At the threshold, Grandpa Graham leans in, a grin stretching wide like a blade. Ray's grin mirrors it, his rain-slick coat stripped away, the light fabric clinging to his shoulders like a second skin. Darkness swallows faces, but the metallic scent of rain and the ghost of the coat fuse his memory into a single electric pulse. Tension spikes, the reunion humming with a hidden trial. And that's only the opening act. The chamber thrums as the next round erupts, the sphere settling into a fresh position. Ray eyes the glowing core, hungry to test the lesson he just absorbed. Grandpa lifts his hand, voice calm yet razor-sharp, signaling the start of another challenge. Ray tightens his grip on the prismatic core, feeling the convergence of emotions and elements ready to explode. Stakes climb higher with each pull, and any misstep would cost him a step toward mastering continuation. The answer already slips beyond reach.
Let's begin the next game.
Grandfather Graham drops to his knees, brandishing 6 shimmering rings before conjuring a pulsating dual-element sphere, forcing Ray to clash his prismatic core against a test that could reshape his magic forever. Ray senses the children's desperate hope pressing like a wave, his yearning to prove mastery crashing against a gnawing fear of failure, jeopardizing the fragile trust he just secured from Grandpa and the orphan crowd. Grandpa lifts a steady hand. The sphere flickers into an unfamiliar hue, and Ray's hand trembles as the room collectively holds its breath. the true power of the prismatic test still cloaked in mystery. The UI is hiding something massive. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari, and we'll figure it out. The genius Prismatic Mage erupts, splashing the arena with searing mana. Hama grins, eyes locked on his challenger, and declares the round his. He scoffs at the circle count, insisting true power isn't measured by markings but by raw control. The opponent shifts stance, trying a fresh approach, but Hama refuses to let the new method catch him off guard. He pushes forward, demanding the duel continue on his terms, forcing the challenger to scramble for a counter. The crowd feels the tension tighten as the stakes climb higher.
I've won this round too.
The challenger now faces a surprise he never expected. Hama steps back, breath steady, and raises his hand, inviting the next clash.
Hama leans forward, his monocle catching the lingering glow, and asks Ray directly, "Would you like to learn magic from me?" Ray's brow furrows. He knows the monocle mage wields for complete circles, a power few achieve. He questions why such a master would waste time on a street orphan, suspecting hidden motives. Hama's calm reply hints at a larger design, a secret he plans to share only with those he deems worthy. Ray's skepticism battles his yearning for power, and the tension between doubt and ambition crackles like static. The next answer could seal his fate. The answer is already too late.
Hama spins the mana ring, tears open a concealed portal, and summons Veronica, while exposing the true motive behind the monocle mage's hunt for the rainbow, an ancient secret capable of crowning a god. Ray feels his world shatter as his yearning for mastery collides with the weight of betrayal, realizing his past kidnapping and the mage's hidden agenda could doom everything he cherishes. Now the arena thrums with poisonous air. The secret hangs in the air, and Ray must choose whether to confront the monocle mage before the looming toxin consumes the entire spectrum. Trust no one. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari to see who turns next. The mage snatches jagged glass, eyes locked on the shivering thug. He craves proof that his wind can shear steel, and he wants the thug to taste defeat. With no circle drawn, the very air becomes his conduit. He hurls the shards, a gale tearing the room, the gust cleaving the thug's forearm cleanly. The thug drops, clutching a useless limb, while the mage gasps from the effort. Yet the whispered deal for the bookstore lingers, a dark cloud over every breath. And that's only the beginning. The thug's allies surge forward, disbelief flashing in their eyes. Their leader, a lanky youth, kneels and whispers a trembling thank you, his voice cracking. A thin voice trembles as the doctor describes the cursed eternal sleep, a disease that drains life until eyes never open again. He watches the patient's eyelids flutter, each blink dragging longer, the room chilling with each ha. The affliction spreads slow, stealing waking hours until the body clings to consciousness for only fleeting moments. A cold dread settles in his gut, knowing anyone he loves could fall victim.
The eternal sleep disease.
The answer is already too late. The patient collapses, eyes half closed, as the disease stretches 2 months of endless naps into a lifetime of darkness. He can barely lift a hand. His waking hours flicker like a dying candle.
Lightning forks the sky as he hurls fragmented glass, the shards ripping through the enemy's wing and sending him crashing into market stalls. He snarls, warning his comrades that reckless airborne attacks invite disaster. The mage watches the wind mana spiral out of control, shards of glass raining like a storm. He wants to seal the runaway spell before it burns the bookstore's foundation, but his damaged arm trembles, refusing the focus needed. A sudden surge forces him to abort, and he lets out an exasperated "ha" that echoes off the alley walls. The failure leaves a gap for rival gangs to slip through, and his frustration morphs into dread. He knows any delay could let Jeffers or Cedric claim the shop by dawn.
Doe.
The darkness beyond the alley deepens, hinting at a greater peril.
The mage channels violet wind, hurling shards of glass that slam into the Jeffers leader, shattering his wing and sending him crashing into the market stalls. The mage feels his arm tremble, gratitude for the saved bookstore battling fear of losing everything, while his promise to Ray fuels a desperate resolve. The Cedric gang looms, their shadowy boss questioning the mage's motives, while runaway wind mana spirals unchecked, threatening to ignite the bookstore's foundation before the mage can seal the spell. Only the most dedicated readers make it to the end. You're already one of them. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.